Okay, so we're gonna try this again. I posted earlier for a 12:15 lesson with my kids, and we had some connection problems, shocker, and here we are again. So hopefully you guys can find me and you can join in every day, again, depending on, I'd love to know how your homeschooling is going and what you guys are finding your way towards taking this time and encouraging your child's learning. But I feel like there's a lot right now that would be really good to, have them take a little bit of a deep breath and find their own creativity and learn some things that maybe they don't learn so much at school because of the curriculum and the way that the things are set up and how things have to be and, all these tests and MCAS and all this other business. So each day, or at least a couple times a week, they do some of their own reading, and I actually use some books that I have found a lot of value out of, and having them learn about historical features or characters that probably were not going to be introduced until either a later time or not at all. So this particular book, which I read for Martin Luther King Day, this is a whole compiled speeches over the course of decades. And if you don't have this book, this is a really good book to have. And also it's something that's really good from if you want to get out of the library or anything. Every decade has speeches that are appropriate for that period of time. And it also just can give, I feel, a good educational piece, an inspirational speech for whatever was going on at that period of time. So I just happened to pick up this particular speech from Jimmy Carter. And he did this speech in the late 1970s. And when I'm talking to my kids, because I tried to do this outside, they're on the swings, and I sit on the hammock and we read this together. So you guys are not able to join me, so I don't know what ended up happening, but I'm still going to be like you guys are here with us for our story time, and I have to reteach it anyway, up to them, or not reteach it, but we have a conversation. So, again, is this above their level? I have a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old, probably so. But when I picked it up and I read it, this was, again, if you have children that are maybe not this particular age to be like, well, who is Jimmy Carter? I've used this as a teaching tool that, Jimmy Carter was a president of the United States, and it was in the late 1970s. And we talk a little bit about who these people are. So, is it going to be, are they going to learn about Jimmy Carter in the 3rd grade? No way. So I really love this book because it kind of gives you an opportunity to take this time. If we're going to be home and you're looking at the positives, there can be really good things that you're trying to do, a curriculum that's good for their grade level, but to also open up another conversation that maybe it is above their level, but maybe it isn't. Maybe they'll have a different interpretation of something that I think would be really valuable. I'm glad somebody found me. Let me know who it is. So anyway, Mara and Jana are up on the swing set. Usually we're having this discussion up there. I was going to invite you to be up there. I can't connect to Facebook because it already cut me off and to Facebook. And I think I just spit on the camera, so sorry about that. So anyway, I'm going to read this speech to you because I thought it was amazing, and I'd love for you guys to have a discussion on what this means to you. So the title of the speech was, President Jimmy Carter addresses the crisis of confidence affecting the heart and soul and spirit of the nation. So again, when I'm with the kids, I was talking about this. So by the summer of 1979, President Jimmy Carter's popularity ratings were in a nosedive. So it's so interesting too now, so interesting that we are going now through this political year, this presidential election that's going to be coming up, who the heck knows, whatever. But I just find it so interesting that I come across, you stop at a page and you're starting to read how interesting. Heading into the mid-20s in July, Nixon's were in the 30s during the worst of Watergate. Carter suffered from both horrible luck and poor political judgment. With every foreign policy triumph, such as the historic Camp David Accords, Carter brokered establishing peace between Egypt and Israel, there came a crisis, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Domestically, the economy was going down. Unemployment was in the double digits. So anyway, the interest rates were over 20%, and oil and gas, which Americans had always taken for granted, were scarce. So again, there's some parallels here in the current time and not. But as I was reading this, I was just thinking like, oh my gosh. So they were, the excerpt that they talk about why he wrote the speech, the circumstances were not good. Jimmy Carter was not popular. He was going downhill. The whole spirit of the country was just going down, 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 down. So he basically had done this speech and he spoke. So this was on July 15th, 1979. He spoke to a radio and television audience of 60 million Americans. Okay, so right now, you guys are my 60 million, all right? So this is, I'm going to read the entire thing. You can choose or not to listen to it or not, but it's really good. And I highly suggest picking this up and thumbing through it. It's a very good history book. It is very accurate because these are the words of people all through a century of time. And again, you can read it, find something appropriate for an event or a person, and teach off of that. And I've found it very valuable with my family. So I want to talk to you right now about a fundamental threat to American democracy. I do not mean our political and civil liberties; they will endure. And I do not refer to the outward strength of America, a nation that is at peace tonight everywhere in the world with unmatched economic power and military might. The threat is nearly invisible in ordinary ways. It is a crisis of confidence. It is a crisis that strikes at the very heart and soul and spirit of our national will. We can see this crisis in the growing doubt about the meaning of our own lives and then the loss of a unity of purpose. For our nation, the erosion of our confidence in the future is threatening to destroy the social and political fabric of America. Jennifer, so good to see you. You're going to see me. This is so good, this speech. If you can, you're doing your horses and I can just be with you in the barn. This speech, I don't know if you saw the beginning, but this speech was given by Jimmy Carter in 1979. I just happened to pick it up and I was reading through it, and I feel like a lot of what he's saying is parallel to what we're living right now, and I just wanted to share this with you. We're up by the swing set. Facebook cut me off, so Facebook. All right, the confidence that we have always had as a people is not simply some romantic dream or a proverb in a dusty book that we read just on the 4th of July. It is the idea which founded our nation and has guided our development as a people. Confidence in the future has supported everything else: public institutions and private enterprise, our own families, and the very Constitution of the United States. Confidence has defined our course and has served as a link between generations. We've always believed in something called progress. We've always had a faith that the days of our children would be better than our own. Our people are losing faith not only in government itself, but in the ability as citizens to serve as the ultimate rulers and shapers of our democracy. As a people, we know our past, and we are proud of it. Our progress has been a part of the living history of America, even in the world. We always believed that we were a part of the great movement of humanity itself called democracy, involved in the search for freedom, and that belief has always strengthened us in our purpose. But just as we are losing confidence in the future, we are also beginning to close the door on our past. In a nation that was proud of hard work, strong families, close-knit communities, and our faith in God, too many of us now tend to worship self-indulgence and consumption. Human identity is no longer defined of what one does, but by what one owns. We've discovered that the owning things and consuming things does not satisfy our longing for meaning. We've learned that the piling up of material goods cannot fill the emptiness of lives, which have no confidence or purpose. The symptoms of this crisis of the American spirit are all around us. For the first time in history of our country, a majority of our people believe that the next 5 years will be worse than the next 5 years will be worse than the past 5 years. How true right now, yes? 2/3 of our people do not even vote. The productivity of American workers is actually dropping. and the willingness of Americans to save for the future has fallen below that of all other people in the Western world. As you know, there is a growing disrespect for government, for churches, the news media, which I can't really lie about that, and other institutions. This is not a message of happiness or reassurance, but it is the truth, and it is a warning. So again, I'm reading this and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like it's almost like we were reading something that these words were supposed to be said today. These changes did not happen overnight. They've come upon us gradually over the last generation, years that were filled with shocks and tragedy. We were sure that ours was a nation of the ballot, not the bullet. Until the murders of John Kennedy and Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King Jr., we were taught that our armies were always invincible and our causes were always just, only to suffer the agony of Vietnam. We respected the presidency as a place of honor until the shock of Watergate. Again, like all of this right now is just so crazy. We remember when the phrase sound as a dollar was an expression of absolute dependability. Until 10 years of inflation began to shrink our dollar and our savings. We believed that our nation's resources were limitless, until 1973 when we had to face a growing dependence on foreign oil. So again, these are just, mirrored, not exactly the same, but just listen to these words. And I, again, would be so grateful for you guys to comment. All right, so this is where it sums up. So again, this was Jimmy Carter. If you guys are tuning in now, this is Jimmy Carter. This is not any current time, but the words I find are very meaningful. Often you see paralysis and stagnation and drift. You don't like it, and neither do I. And what can we do? First of all, we must face the truth. Oh, so good. I just can't help it. And then we can change our course. Face the truth and change our course. We simply must have faith in each other, faith in our ability to govern ourselves, and faith in the future of this nation. Restoring that faith and that confidence to America is now the most important task we must face. It is a true challenge of this generation of Americans. We know the strength of America. We are strong. We can regain our unity. We can regain our confidence. We are the heirs of generations who survived threats much more powerful and awesome than those that challenge us now. Our fathers and our mothers were strong men and women who helped shape a new society during the Great Depression, and who fought world wars, and who carved out a new charter of peace for the world. We ourselves are the same Americans who just 10 years ago put a man on the moon. So clearly this is not the current time. We are the generation that dedicated our society to the pursuit of human rights and equality. And we are the generations that will win the war on energy. I added COVID-19. And in that process, we rebuild the unity and confidence of America. We are at a turning point in our history. There are two paths to choose. And one is the path I've warned about tonight, the path that leads to fragmentation and self-interest. Down that road lies a mistake idea of freedom, the right to grasp for ourselves some advantage over others. That path would be one of constant conflict between narrow interests ending in chaos and immobility, and it is a certain route to failure. Little by little, we can and must rebuild our confidence. We can spend until we empty our treasuries, and we may summon all the wonders of science. But we can succeed only if we tap into our greatest resource, America's people, America's values, and America's confidence. I have seen the strength of America in the inexhaustible resources of our people. In the days to come, let us renew that strength in the struggle for an energy secure nation. And energy secure doesn't really apply to right now, but you know what I'm saying. In closing, let me say this. I will do my best, but I will not do it alone. Let your voice be heard. Whenever you have a chance, say something good about our country. With God's help and for the sake of our nation, it is time for us to join hands in America. Let us commit ourselves together to a rebirth of the American spirit. Whew, here it comes. Working together with our common faith, we cannot fail. Isn't that so good? Oh my gosh, it's just so good. So anyway, in the very end, so any of the speeches in this, they give you a little excerpt before the actual speech itself. And then at the very end, it just talks about, what the little summary was and what ended up happening. So he was going down the tubes. His approval rating was just not good. Everything bad was happening. Down, down, down. This one speech buoyed his approval rating by 11%. Unfortunately, things happened shortly. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. I know I get a little carried away, but isn't it just so good? I mean, again, this is where I choose to, certainly support the things that are recommended to the kids, because I would say that's pretty much what it is right now, to sit down at the computer, have them fill out these, math facts and certainly things like that to help them grow in things that are appropriate for their grade. But to give them opportunities right now, and they have to put up with me because I do pretend I channeled my inner Jimmy Carter. But when I look at it that, when are they going to be exposed to this? And then what's their interpretation of it? So again, they're on the swings right now, which I'll show you. And that was what I wanted. And they listen to the speech and I'm on the hammocks reading to them. And then I ask them what they think. What do you think of that? What do you take from that before I start yapping? Because you guys know I can do that. But I love the fact that we have an opportunity right now to influence our children's learning and their education and finding their creativity and, maybe influencing them a little bit that we never would have had the opportunity to do that because, we're giving districts and everybody else all the control, which is how it's been for so long. But maybe there's going to be new insights from old material that's going to make things even better when they start to grow up and how do they find, reading more interesting or do they, nope, definitely not doing that. I think it goes either way to give them the freedom to be introduced to things, to learn the very fabric of what's important and then expand from that in a way. And that's just how I'm taking it now. So, whether it's right or wrong, what's good for you is I totally support you and welcome whatever you feel is best. It's nice to know, and it's really empowering to feel that we have the ability to make use of this time in a way that we never would have. So again, it's the silver lining. Yesterday I was kind of yapping about a different thing, but let's just look at what we can do and how we can help our families and our children and each other. Jennifer, we got to get up there and help you out because we're missing you tons. But I think, again, I would be interested to what you guys think. I would definitely recommend, again, picking up books like this, looking at some of the fabrics or maybe some of the parallels of our history and how it could inspire you now. How could we change the outcome of what we're going through now with what we've learned from the past? In the speech, you can't close the door on what's already happened, but it might open up a door to a new opportunity to give us better solutions if we just welcome those solutions and welcome that ability to look across a party line or to someone else's opinion. And again, if you have love in your heart, no matter what you believe and you agree or not, nobody can accuse you of that because that's your belief. So again, I just feel like it's such a good message. And it's really exciting. And speeches, I don't know what it is. I just think of the energy of that moment. My dream would be to be this motivational speaker and just be in that. You guys went to my live event and it was just, so exciting. And even my baking classes here, I just think being around people, I love that so much. And thinking the energy and the excitement of getting people, really feeling like they have power and confidence. So say something good about our country today. I'm going to get to redo that all over again now that I had my dress rehearsal with you guys. The kids, they're going to get the full performance now. They're really looking forward to it. I can tell you that. All right, so they're coming in. I'll have them say hello. And Jennifer, knowing hopefully you're still here. Come in. Yeah, we're all done. All done. No one's on. Don't worry. Shh. I can see you. Here, Jennifer Lalone is on. She wants to say hi.
Hello.
You aren't going to see your face, but you can wave to her so she can see you. And her, yeah, she can see her. I don't think she's seen your sweatshirt before.
I wear this all the time.
Oh, sorry. Maybe you saw it already. All right, say hi.
You're supposed to be out.
I know, but it was cutting me off. So say hi. I think Omi's on too. I'm not sure. I can't see. Hello. Good. I was just telling him how excited now I read it, and now you guys get to get a whole other performance and discussion.
Fun.
Hi.
No. Well, no, they are doing it. I'm not going to lie to you. All right, why don't you say bye? Hopefully everybody had a good Easter. They're still making through some of their candy. And we're going to have some Sour Patch Kids. Yes,
I'm
we
going
are.
to have Sour Patch
We are a
Kids.
healthy
Not me.
home, but it's candy, right? What's your favorite candy, everyone? Hey, Kara. You missed my speech, but I'm going to post it. It's a little long, but, if you know me, which you do.
This is a rip-off.
Oh, so don't you hate it when you open up your candy too, or your bag of chips, and it's like all air in there, and then you open up, but candy-wise, it may not be a bad thing, I guess. No. All right, you guys, I hope you have a good day. I hope you go back and listen to the speech a little bit, or re-listen to it a few times. It's really, really good. So hopefully, again, it's only going to help us learn more about our history. And I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to ruin everything else. But anyway, Thank you for joining us, you guys. Have a great day. And I will get back to the best days ever because that's my saying. But right now, it just doesn't seem like we're in that best day ever kind of place. But
We can look forward. I have an inspirational saying.
Okay, you can get in the middle, yeah.
Sour Patch.
Oh, yeah, chewy.
This is very sticky.
So, if you
Just go ahead and talk into the camera.
if you're scared about all this, hello, Mara.
Hello.
If you're scared of all this, you can look forward to something. Like maybe you look forward to something something that's close. Like we don't know when this is gonna be over, so maybe not look forward to that. But maybe.
It's okay, let her talk.
Maybe look forward to something that's closer and something that you could have fun with. Or you could think of something and be creative.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Like play with your animals.
Yeah.
Or play a board game. Or like on Friday we might get to look forward to, on Friday we can look forward to Night Unplugged, which is when we are going to put all electricity off. No phones, no TV, and we can play board games and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we can kind of spend time doing things we wouldn't ordinarily be doing.
But
And
we
have
can
fun.
look forward to them to get us through this time.
Hey!
Good job, James. All right, so that was good. And this is what we do. We talk about different things, get different ideas, talk about people, like I said, from books, and they still do their work. So I'm going to, give them that little plug for their teachers. They still do what they're supposed to do, but we just add to it in
Speaking
different
of
ways
which,
too.
I'm going to do some of my work.
All right. So they're going to do their work now. Enjoy, you guys, and take care, be safe, stay strong.
We have